Welcome back to the Boomer Bust podcast. I'm your host, DaRock, and I'm here with my boy, Matt Too Icy. How we doing today, Matt?
Doing wonderful, man. It's March. It's madness time. I am so excited to be back on the podcast and get these conversations running. I'm doing great though, man. How are you?
Oh, I mean, it's March, like you said, beautiful time of year. Can't be better. Two best days of the sports calendar, this Thursday and Friday. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
That's
So,
awesome to hear, man.
yes, sir. So, Matt and I here are going to be going through each region. We're going to go our favorite matchup, our favorite underdog to make the second weekend, upset a team, a low seed we think's going to knock off a high seed. Any other, kind of best bets predictions we like for these games, and then who wins the region. We're going to do that each region, and then we're going to go through, give our final four picks, and crown a national champion. So we're going to start here in the East, the region where UConn is the number 1 seed, with Iowa State the number 2, Illinois the 3, and then Auburn the 4. Matt, what is your favorite game to watch here this first weekend that you have your eye on in the East region?
It's got to be this Washington State and Drake game. I mean, everyone's calling for this game. Everyone's calling for Drake to upset Washington State. Washington State's been very good this year, but Drake kind of flew under everyone's radar. So I definitely think this is the game that I'm going to have my eyes on for sure in the East region is between Washington State and Drake. How about you?
Mine is that one, or I like this FAU Northwestern game. As listeners of this show know, I was Owl Man last year, big Florida Atlantic fan. They've kind of been, not super impressive as of late, but I think the tournament they turn it on. Like I've said in multiple videos here, John L. Davis versus Boo Buie is gonna be a great guard matchup to watch. Boo Buie, as bucket getter, can definitely win this game for Northwestern, kind of single-handedly. But Florida Atlantic has a tournament experience of going on a deep run. I think, like I said, they're going to turn it up a notch here in March, so I'm going to go with the Owls in that one.
FAU, man, he's back.
He's back.
Business.
Owl Man's back. All right, so then we're going to go with our upset. What is a upset you like here in the first round for the East region?
I'm going to have to go with the Duquesne Dukes after winning the A-10. They impressed me a lot this year. Something with them with this game is BYU shoots the 3-ball at an insane rate. It's like 51% of their field goals attempted are from beyond the arc, and Duquesne does a wonderful job of guarding the 3-ball. So I honestly think there's a lot of upset potential in this game. I'm not sure how favored BYU is in this spot, but it can't be by more than 6 points.
9.5.
Oh my God. Oh. Give me Duquesne Dukes then if it's 9.5. So definitely to cover the spread, but we're more focusing on just an upset. I'm going to take the Dukes over the BYU Cougars.
Gotcha. For me, I think this region's going to be pretty chalk. I have seen some people saying, maybe Yale over Auburn, but I like John I. Broom and the Tigers too much to pick that. I don't really know if it's an upset since they're favored, but the 10 seed Drake, I like them to knock off Washington State. I think like that game you mentioned, should be a really good one. Tucker DeVries is a lot of fun to watch. Drake now back in the NCAA tournament for the second straight year after losing last year, but they win the Missouri Valley. They knock off Indiana State, who everyone was really high on. But I think the Bulldogs are a really solid squad here, and I could see them knocking off the Cougars for sure. And then that's gonna then take us into our underdog team that we think can make the second weekend. I'm gonna say these Drake Bulldogs, them against Iowa State in Omaha. I think that's gonna be a ruckus crowd. Iowa State, very defensive team. They also have, some quality guards. But I think the Drake Bulldogs, they could go all the way to the second weekend. How about you? What is your kind of sleeper team you like to make the second weekend here in this region?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I'm going to go back with, that's not really a sleeper team because they're a favorite. Drake was definitely my team, and so was Duquesne. But I'm on the fence here. But I'm going to go with the FAU Owls. They're not really a sleeper team, I would say. But I am going to back you. They finished second overall in the American this year. They are the Owls, and they turn it on, like you said, in March. John L. Davis, I mean, he's playing great basketball this year. He's averaging around like 18 and a half points per game. He's shooting like 44% from three, which is kind of outrageous. So it's not really a sleeper team. I guess I switched him up. Sleeper should have been more Duquesne. But I'm going to go with the Owls in this one to definitely make the second round over Northwestern.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was saying second weekend. I was saying, do you think they can knock off UConn? For a second there, I was saying that would definitely be second weekend. My apologies.
No, you're that misheard over here. I'm going to stay with Duquesne then. I think there's a world where they can upset Illinois. Terrence Shannon Jr., I know he's looked amazing. He averaged somewhere around like 36 points in the Big Ten tournament. But I'm going to go with the Duquesne Dukes. I mean, they can really score at all three levels. They can defend the three well. They love running teams off the three-point line and forcing them to go inside. So, yeah, I like Duquesne to upset Illinois and make the second weekend. Sorry, I misunderstood that, guys. That's on me. Do not blame DaRock. He is the best, okay?
Oh.
That's on me.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're kind of talking me into these Duquesne Dukes here, because I'm actually really high on the BYU Cougars. Like, I agree. I think Illinois could get knocked off in the second round, but when I had that in brackets, I had it to be into BYU. I think they got some solid guards, but you're really talking me into Duquesne here. All right, so then wrap it up here. Who's your favorite? Who you think is going to win this region?
Give me the Iowa State Cyclones. Taking care of business. I think they get past whether they play Illinois, whether they play Duquesne, BYU, even Drake. I could see Drake making the second weekend. That's a great take, honestly. But Iowa State Cyclones, what they did on Saturday night, I believe, against Houston was they put their foot down their neck within 18 minutes of the first half. Iowa State Cyclones have been playing great basketball all year. I think they were underrated. I think they should have been the top 2 seed for sure, in my opinion. But I'm going to go with the Cyclones. I think they win this side of the East, and I think they take care of business against UConn or Auburn, is my prediction.
Wow. Oh wow! Okay.
What about you?
I'm being square. I'm going with UConn. I think. I mean, they're defending national champions.
I hope one of us did. Hope one of us.
Yeah, we have very differing takes here on this region. I kind of like that. I'm enjoying this. I'm going with UConn. I mean, defending national champions. Also a big thing for them. They don't have to fly to any of these games. They're playing in Brooklyn for the first round, and then the regional semifinals and final would be in Boston. So close. UConn fans travel. I mean, such a solid squad. So many names you can, Alex Caravan, Cam Spencer, Tristan Newton. Like, the names just go on and on. I think they're the deepest team in the tournament. They're defending national champions. I could very well see them doing that again. So, now we'll move on to the West. And this is the one that, is kind of wide open, most wide open in my eyes. North Carolina's the 1 seed. Arizona's the 2. Baylor's the 3. And then Alabama is the 4. Matt, what is your favorite matchup here that you're looking forward to in this first round for the West region?
It's definitely that 8-9 matchup between Mississippi State and Michigan State. I mean, you have 2 powerhouse defenses in the country. They're both top 20 in defensive efficiency in the nation. And, I mean, this is going to be a low-scoring game. And it's Tom Izzo in March. And how my brain thinks in life, it's January, February, Tom Izzo, April, May. So it's like I think this game is going to be so good, though, because Mississippi State has been really good all year. They've kind of been flying under the radar, but it's hard with a Michigan State team that's won less than 20 games, and they still get into the tournament. But it's Izzo. You can't count out Izzo in March. I'm so excited to watch the game, especially because it's the first game to kind of like initiate March Madness tomorrow. So I'm ecstatic for this game. What about you? Where's your head at?
For me, it's probably Clemson, New Mexico. And this one's an interesting one to me because the 11 seed New Mexico is actually the favorite. I really enjoy watching Jamal Mashburn Jr. for the Lobos. Their team, they went on a run here to win the Mountain West tournament. Teams have been, people have been pretty high on these Mountain West teams. Colorado State got a win yesterday. Boise State, as we're recording, is in a battle with Colorado. So we got, people are high in the Mountain West, and this is a team that I'm seeing them be pretty high on. Clemson also solid squad. I mean, P.J. Hall's really good forward. Joe Girard, can light it up. But, this is one I could see going either way. Like I said, 1.5 point favorite spread where the 11 seed's actually the favorite. And I'm kind of leaning right in that, going with New Mexico to win that game.
I like that. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to see 11 seed. Not like crazy, but it is kind of like odd, to see an 11 seed favored over a 6 seed. So that definitely is going to be a good game to keep your eye on.
Yes, sir. What's your then upset pick? Is it that, New Mexico game, or is there a different one you like, maybe an upset to happen?
I do like that New Mexico game, but sorry, just looking at the bracket here. I could see a world where Charleston beats Alabama.
I could
I
too.
mean, Alabama is such a high potent, like high paced offense. I mean, they run up and down the court, but sometimes like that can come back to burn you when you can't have slow possessions, you can't kill time off the clock, especially with like a small lead going into the second half in like the bonus and when the other team's in the bonus. It I could see a world where Charleston could upset Bama, which is kind of shocking. 13-4. I mean, it's shocking no matter
Yeah.
what. It's March, but I definitely like Charleston. I don't really know too much about them, if I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to spew out of my ass, but I do like Charleston as a potential upset against Alabama Crimson Tide. What about you?
That was
I want
that
to hear.
was kind of the one that I've
Yeah,
been thinking. It was one like early, you first look at the bracket, you're like, oh, Alabama should take care of business. But I
yeah,
mean, College of Charleston last year gave not South Dakota, San Diego State. Too many
San Diego
SDSUs.
State.
I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
confused.
So many, so many.
Gave them a bit of the run for their money there in the first round last year. And yeah, like you said, Alabama plays, really high tempo, likes to score the ball, but so does College of Charleston. So I could see them, maybe hanging with the Crimson Tide. So I'd say either that or, like I said, that New Mexico game like I picked. I've seen a lot of people saying Grand Canyon over St. Mary's, but I actually like the Gales there. So
Yeah.
that's I'd say, either Charleston or New Mexico are my two. Then let's see. So that was our upset. What's a team you think could make the second weekend? Kind of a sleeper team that not a lot of people are picking.
All right. Now that I understand this question, I'm gonna go with the Dayton Flyers. I think they can take care of business against Arizona. I really do. I mean, I love teams in March that are so slow in tempo. Like they like playing slow in the half court. They let their sets build up. They wait for the good shot, the open shot. They don't force anything. And this is definitely a spot where I could see Dayton beating Arizona. Arizona this year, as much as you got Caleb Love, you got that guy transferring from UNC, but I don't trust them enough. I mean, there's even a world where like I could see Long Beach State
Ooh.
competing in this game in the first round. Like, not gonna win it. I'm not gonna be crazy here, but I could see a world where Arizona starts to slump. I mean, Dayton can shoot the lights out of the ball. They're like 41% or something across the country, which is like ranked top 30th around there. So I could see Dayton and the Flyers getting past the Wildcats and going into the second week. What about you, DaRock?
Again, people are gonna look at my hat and maybe say this is a bit of a homer pick. I like Josh Hubbard and the Mississippi State Bulldogs to knock off not only Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans, but I think they could take down North Carolina. If there's a one seed that's going to lose in the first weekend, I think North Carolina is the most likely one. Tolu Smith is also a really solid forward for the
Yeah,
Bulldogs,
yep.
Mississippi State. And, outside of Josh Hubbard, they start all seniors, so they're an experienced team. They've been around the block. They've been a team I've kind of been high on all year. So for me, my sleepers would be Mississippi State to make the second weekend.
That's not a bad take. Tolu Smith is really good. He is lengthy as hell. He can guard the rim. I like that take a lot. I just want Michigan State. It's Tom Izzo,
I
but that's a
know,
great
I
take.
know, and that's what I'm saying. Most people are gonna think that way, so I've just kind of
Yeah,
like told myself, no, I gotta
tough
be
one.
ahead of the curve here, and just the Spartans have not impressed me all year. I mean,
No,
granted, Ohio
no.
State did get hot down the stretch there, but like they lost to Ohio
Yeah,
State, they've lost to
yeah,
Indiana, like they lost some
yeah.
not so great
Some
teams.
bad games. Yeah, some bad games.
I mean,
But
now James Madison is a tournament team. They started their season ranked fourth and lost at home to James Madison. Like,
yeah,
not a great season for the Spartans.
yeah. 19 wins and you're still getting in. It's crazy.
So then, who do you like to come out of this West region? Then, what's your pick?
I'm gonna go with Baylor.
Ooh.
Baylor's looked really good this year. Like you mentioned, like I mentioned with Arizona, they've kind of been lackluster, and like you mentioned with North Carolina, they haven't impressed me. If there's gonna be a one seed that goes down, it's definitely North Carolina, in my opinion, nice and early. Even though we all know Purdue's still a one seed, so everyone watch out. But yeah, no, definitely, I'm gonna go with Baylor in this one to be my winner in the West region. What about you?
I've had some crazy brackets. I've had St. Mary's. Like I said, I do
Oh,
believe
the
in the Gales. I
gals!
do believe in the Gales. And like there's usually always one region that's kind of chaos. Someone random comes out. Last year there was two of them with both San Diego State and Florida Atlantic. I think it could be this West one, but the storyline of Arizona playing in the Final Four in Phoenix, I think is just too strong. Plus, then they also are going to be, the home team in this West regional playing in LA,
Yeah.
like
Oh, I
playing
didn't
on
even
the
think about
Pacific
that.
time.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I like Caleb Love. He led North Carolina in the national title game 2 years ago. Broke my heart when he beat Duke. Um, I think they're kind of a team of destiny, a little bit like Purdue, like you said, like very slept on upset. Not a lot of people talked about last year because everyone knows Princeton, and then Purdue loses to Fairleigh Dickinson the next day. So not a lot of people talk about Princeton knocking off Arizona next year. So I think they kind of right the ship here. I'm going to go with Arizona at the Final Four out of the West region. So now we're flipping over to the other side of the bracket. We go to the South region, where the 1 seed is Houston, the 2 seed's Marquette, the 3 seed's Kentucky, and the 4 seed's Duke. Matt, what is your favorite matchup here in the first round of this South region?
I'm going to be honest, it's the game that's currently going on. Boise State and Colorado playing Florida. I am so excited. I hope Colorado wins this game tonight as we're watching. I'm not sure what the score is. Do you have any check on that?
It was halftime. Oh, it's popping up right here. 26-24 Buffs lead at half.
Okay. If Colorado can get into this spot in the 10 seed, I can see a world where they take down Florida. Yes, I know Florida just played Auburn for the SEC championship, but I don't know. I don't know,
Jim.
I really could see a world where I'm only saying this if it's Colorado. If it's Boise State, I haven't been too high on them all year. But Colorado, I could see them upsetting Florida, and that's definitely my favorite matchup to watch if that ends up happening. What about you, Derek?
For me, it's going to be Nebraska and Texas A&M. This is one I'm very split on. I think people are going to love Keisei Tominaga. He's so much fun to watch.
Steph?
Yes.
Pronounce his name right. Steph?
This is another great guard game in an 8-9 matchup. Wade Taylor, the fourth, is also really good for A&M. They're a team, they've been hot playing well as of late. And I think, I don't know, maybe it's just I have a little bit of Big Ten bias, here in the Midwest, thinking a lot of people are going to pick Nebraska. So I've kind of been leaning A&M in this one. But it's a 1.5 point spread for Nebraska. It's a game that could go either way. I think it's going to be really entertaining. Lots of, shot making, some fun shots should be back and forth. Should be a battle. So that's going to be my game to watch there in the South. What do you like as your upset? There's some potentially good ones here.
We're going to change the order for a little bit. Let's let DaRock start, and I will finish the segment. Go ahead, DaRock. What is your biggest upset, my guy?
So I've
Don't you do it. Don't you do what I'm thinking you're going to do.
Kind of been on the fence about NC State, Texas Tech. I do like
That's good.
Both the DJs for them are a lot of fun. DJ Horn and DJ Burns, fun guys there. But I'm also big on Pop Isaacs. I've really enjoyed watching him play this year for Texas Tech. But I'm going James Madison over Wisconsin. Like I said, I was just talking about all the Big Ten. I'm going in on them. The Dukes, 31-3 on the year. Like I said, they've already beaten a Big Ten team in Michigan State this year. Wisconsin was looking abysmal before the Big Ten tournament run that they went on.
Yeah.
I know I have some Wisconsin fans that listen. I'm sorry. I'm going the Dukes. Roll Dukes.
I knew you were going to go there. That's why I said don't do it, but you went there. I like that a lot, though. I think that's one of definitely the upsets that a lot of the public are on. But I mean, like you said, Wisconsin's looked pretty flat until the Big Ten tournament, and it's Wisconsin versus Wisconsin, so it's got some weight to it for sure. But for me, I'm going to stick with the firepower that you started out with the conversation. I'm going to go with the NC State Wolfpack. DJ Burns, DJ Horn. I mean, Burns is averaging around 17, 5-5 in the ACC tournament that he just played. An interesting thing about NC State that I like, though, is I like momentum going into March. They were 10th overall in the regular season until the tournament, and then they won it outright. So that's definitely something to look at. And then you also got to look at the fact that they've won 5 games in 5 days. That's what March is about. You got to have quick turnarounds. You got to, even if you win off a buzzer beater, you got to be able to turn around, watch film, and study the team, and do everything right on the floor. That's definitely something I'm going to be keeping an eye out for. But I do think NC State can win this game. And they got that big rebounder that just broke an ACC tournament record or something like that. I saw.
Yeah.
Mohammed something.
Oh, Diarra. Yep.
Yeah, Mohammed Diarrhea, as I was calling him the other day. But, man, that guy is a dog. So I like NC State for my upset in this one.
Gotcha. Are they a team, do you think they make the second weekend, or do you like James Madison, or do you like some other one? What's your kind of, sleeper here to make the second weekend?
Yeah, it can't be NC State because I have Kentucky going way too far.
Or is this maybe a region you think's kind of chalk? You think, it's kind of the top 4 seeds?
I'm gonna be honest. I do kind of think it's chalk.
That's kind of what I'm leaning towards too.
As much as the East is kind of, in my opinion, the East in terms of 1 through 4 was the deepest. I definitely think with the South, it's kind of going to be hard because even if you, like you talked about with that Texas A&M Nebraska game, I don't see either of them taking down Houston. I don't see anybody. I mean, I guess you could go James Madison over Duke, but I don't want to say that. Like, I like Duke. You're a Duke lover. We both love Duke. So, like, I'm not going to take that. I'm not taking anybody over Kentucky, and Marquette has just been too good all year, the Golden Eagles. So, honestly, this region, I'm a scratch and not answer that question because I don't think it's anybody.
I would tend to agree with you. I think Kentucky-Marquette could be one of the games of the tournament if we get it, which I think we will. Pains me to say, I think if there is anyone that loses, it's going to be
I didn't want to
be James Madison. Not the Dukes knocking off Duke. I mean, they have really solid guards. James Madison does. Sorry, I just had it pulled up here. In Terrence Edwards Jr. and then Friedel, both really solid guys. But I don't know. I'm a homer. I'm going to say Duke. I'm going to say Duke Houston. I'm going Kentucky Marquette. We're both agreeing there. Who do you like to come out of the region then between those four teams?
As much as I don't want to bet against Jamal Sheed and I'm blanking CJ something
LJ Cryer.
LJ Cryer, CJ, yeah, LJ Cryer and Jamal Sheed. As much as I don't want to bet against them in this spot, I think I might, and I'm gonna go with Marquette to come out of this region. I know. I love Houston, though. They've been so good all year, but I'm going to go Marquette. How about you?
I'm going the Cougs. Roll Cougs.
The Cougs.
I think they're just too good defensively. They're kind of going to put on anyone. Really kind of what I'm hoping for. I would love to see a Kentucky-Houston Elite Eight matchup just to contrast the styles. Just seeing, Reed Shepard, Rob Dillingham, DJ Wagner, Antonio Reeves, all those guards for Kentucky go against those two that we just mentioned for Houston.
Those two, yeah.
I think those would be some really fun matchups, but I think Houston would be the ones to come out victorious in that.
That Houston, those two guards, that story behind them, I need a 30 for 30 on that because that is insane. They've been best friends since, didn't they say 3 years old or something like that?
Yeah, it's been a while. And
something long time. They're roommates. That it's such a good March Madness story.
Yeah, especially considering LJ Crier's a transfer. He won the national championship at Baylor a couple years ago. So
yep.
A lot of fun. All right, and then we'll finish off here. Final region, the Midwest. That's the one where Purdue is the 1 seed once again. They play Grambling State now in the first round, and I just want to mention this. I was listening to the broadcast. Some people were saying Grambling State plays really similar style to Fairleigh Dickinson, and I was finding that quite comical. Tennessee's the 2 seed. They play St. Peter's, who was a 15 against an SEC team a couple years ago. Sadly, Doug Edwards not walking through the door, but you never know there. The 3 seed Creighton, Blue Jays a really solid squad, and then the 4 seed Kansas, kind of injured team, but they're always there in March. What is your favorite matchup to watch here in this first round of this region?
It's that 6 seed South Carolina Gamecocks against that 11 seed Oregon Ducks. All year South Carolina has just been impressing me week in and week out. That team, if you would have told me they would finish tied for second in the SEC going into this year, I would have said, you do not know ball. And that's why we're on a podcast talking about ball, because I don't know ball. So South Carolina has looked so good all year, and then Oregon is finally healthy. They're finally healthy, and that's definitely a positive to look at. But yeah, for South Carolina, they just played nice and slow. They played at a slow tempo. And player to look out for in that game is Colin Murray Boyles. He's a freshman forward, and he's been averaging 17.5 points per game since the first day of February. So that's definitely something you like to see out of a freshman who's improving going into the end of the season, especially into March. So I think this game is going to be electric to watch. A healthy Oregon Ducks team, which we finally get to see, versus a South Carolina Gamecocks squad that has just been rolling all year.
Gotcha. That should be a good one. For me, it's going to be the 5 seed Gonzaga Bulldogs against the 12 seed McNeese Cowboys. I think it's going to be a really good one. Ryan Nemhard and Graham Ike, really solid duo for the Bulldogs. But then, Shahada Wells and Christian Shoemate, really solid duo here for the Cowboys. Will Wade, also the coach of McNeese. He's been a major coach before. Gonzaga, it's kind of a down year for them, but they're still 5 seed, which is kind of crazy. But But I think this is a really good one. This is one of these upset games I've been back and forth like all week. I don't really know which way I'm leaning, but I think it should be a really good one no matter who comes out on top. How about you then? What is your upset pick that you like? Is it, those Oregon Ducks? Is it McNeese? Is it maybe a Samford? Or is it even a Grambling? Who's your pick?
I think you just talked me into it with absolutely no research. With zero research on Grambling State.
No way! You're trolling. You have to be trolling.
Bye-bye, Purdue!
No way!
Purdue has not looked... Like, they don't look dominant when they need to, and I hate it. Like, I watch so many Purdue games because it's always on just your local TV. And Zach Edey, like, in the end of that Wisconsin game, demand the ball. Give me the ball. Yes, he gets fouled and he goes to the free throw line, but he shoots the free throws at a high rate. I mean, I think he shoots a higher percentage than Dalton Connect from the free throw line.
That's the problem, though. They don't have Big Ten refs now to give them all these calls.
That's what I'm saying. You talked me into it, and I know nothing about Grambling State. It sounds like Gambling State. That's the school I want to go to.
Heck yeah, that's our school.
Grambling State. Give me them in an upset. They ain't making it to week 2, though. I'll tell you that right now. But upset, give me Gambling State, baby. Gambling. We're rolling the dice, baby. Let's go. You just got me so hyped. I'm throwing a future on them to win the Natty. Let's go.
Holy cow. All right, for me... And this is that I'm going to double down. It's also going to be my second weekend pick. I'm going the Samford Bulldogs against Kansas. Like I mentioned, they're not very healthy. Achor has been so much fun to watch for the Bulldogs this year. Buckyball, I think it prevails against this unhealthy Kansas team that just has not looked as good as years past. And then I like them to knock off McNeese State. So I'm going Samford as my upset and my second weekend team. How about you? Who's your second one? Yes.
Got a question for you about that. We know Kevin McCullers ain't playing. Do we know about Hunter Dickinson?
Hunter Dickinson is playing, I believe.
Okay.
But no Kevin McCullough.
So that's a great pick. I love that you have the 12 and 13 against each other in the next round. Who did you say you'd have winning that game?
I'd have Samford knocking off McNeese just because that's a little bit too of a more. I'm like a lot more confident in Samford knocking off Kansas than I am in McNeese taking down Gonzaga. So I'm just going to go teams I'm most confident in. I'm going Samford, but I could easily see it being McNeese either. Both are really solid teams.
Well, I'm going to follow suit with that, but I'm going to fade you on this one, and I'm going to go McNeese to make it to the second round.
Okay.
I think they play a slow pace of play offense that I love to see. And then something about them that I love seeing in March is you got a team that traps on every possession that they play. They're picking you up full court. They're trapping you. They're sliding over. They're just a very fun defense to watch, and that's always exciting for me. So I'm going to go with McNeese over Samford as well because I think both Kansas and Gonzaga get bounced. So give me McNeese over Samford as to make the second week.
So then who do you like to win this region to wrap it up? He has to look at the bracket.
Give me Grambling. Nah, I'm going to go with Creighton. Give me the Creighton Blue. We can both find
We both like Creighton. We both like Creighton.
Come on. We can both agree. I mean, come on, dude.
Okay.
Baylor Shireman, and then you get the massive 7-1 something Cockburner or something
Ryan
like
Cockburner.
That. Out of Missouri. I actually took a photo with him 10 years ago at a basketball camp. Not like just me of him. Like I knew he was going to be this good. It was a group of people, and I was like, wait, that's Ryan Cockburner. And I figured it out. So that's kind of funny. But aside from that, no bias. I like Creighton a lot this year. So I'm going to go Creighton to win the Midwest.
Gotcha. I'm agreeing with you. I don't think Purdue's going to get bounced as early as you do. I do think they make the Elite Eight. I think they knock off Samford. They've already beat Samford this year. But I think Creighton matches up really well with Purdue and can knock them off. So my final four is UConn, Arizona, Houston, Creighton. Yours, remind me again. Who'd you have in the East and West?
I had Iowa State in the East. In the West, I had Baylor.
And then your Houston and Creighton as well.
Houston. No, I didn't take Houston. I took Marquette.
Oh, Marquette and Creighton. My apologies. So you're good. You like two. We both have two Big East teams in.
Yep.
Give me your Final Four prediction and national champion.
Let's start with you, DaRock. Let's start with you on this one.
I like UConn for sure. I think they're the best team in the whole tournament. I'm very split on this Creighton-Houston game. I could go either way. But I'm going to be boring. I'm going to go 2 1 seeds. I'm going to go Houston, UConn. And I don't think we're going to have a repeat national champion, so give me the Cougars. I think their defense just be too smothering. I like you said, big fans of Jamal Shed and LJ Cryer. I'm going with the Cougs. How about you?
All right, so I got Iowa State playing Baylor. Give me Iowa State. Already whooped that bootay on Friday. And then on the other side, I have Marquette versus Creighton. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you have 2 conference games.
Give me the Creighton Blue Jays to win that game. And give me the Iowa State Cyclones to win the Natty.
There we go. That's a different one. That's not one I've heard of. Not by any means is it crazy. They're a 2 seed, but not one I've heard a bunch of. But yeah,
not
all right.
Common. Yep.
All right, I like that. So that's then gonna wrap it up here. We have done it. We've made our brackets. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Maybe you agree with our picks. Tail our picks. You think we're morons, which more than likely we are. Go ahead and fade them.
I took Grambling State. Please
Gambling State. He thinks Purdue's going to lose to a 16 again. That's crazy. Any last words for the people, Matt?
No, I mean, enjoy this time because it only comes once a year and it literally goes by in the snap of a finger. So sit down when you can, get those chores done, get that homework done, make the dinner for the kids. Sit down and enjoy some college ball because to this day I will die on the hill. College basketball is still more pure than the NBA. So enjoy this while we can. This is the best time of the year for basketball, in my opinion. Just have a good time and enjoy yourselves.
Yes, sir. I know the 2 of us will be as well, and we'll be enjoying seeing you guys back here next week to recap the first round and give our picks for the second round. We'll see you then. Peace.
Peace.